Hey everyone, and welcome to Classroom Management Untangled. I'm super excited that you are interested and looking to get a little bit more information. So, why don't we just jump right in? One thing I want you to remember, managing your classroom is really hard, and you should never feel like you have to do it alone. The one thing I say is, if somebody comes up to you and they say the words, all you have to do when they're talking about classroom management, then I would recommend kind of running the other way, because classroom management is hard and it's complicated. But you shouldn't have to do it alone, and you shouldn't have to feel like this is something that's outside of your skill set, or that you don't have the ability to be a really strong classroom manager. You just need the right support. So, what you see when you look, say you walk into a classroom and you're looking at their classroom management system, a lot of times what you see is just really the tip of the iceberg. So you see things like rules and rewards and punishment, maybe, and some scheduling issues. But what you don't see is all that really good stuff that's going on underneath, like how to increase engagement, procedures, how to take care of your own emotional state, the behavioral expectations, how to deal with those really challenging behaviors, not just the ones that kind of respond easily to some of our simple systems, but what happens when you have those really tough kids? Those are the ones that we're seeing so much more of. What kind of behavioral traps do we often find ourselves in? There's just so much that goes into being a really strong classroom manager that you don't see when you walk in, and sometimes that can be discouraging and overwhelming, because you walk in and you think, wow, all they're doing is this, and their class is great, but that's not all they're doing. There's a lot more going on underneath. So in Classroom Management Untangled, my goal was to include all of that, everything that you might need to be a really strong classroom manager. And I do that, and so that you have all of this at your fingertips. The idea is not that you go through it all once, that you do it, that you're done, and then poof, it's perfect. The idea is that you have all of this information there for you, and you can use it as you need it. So, what's included in Classroom Management Untangled? You get 12 months of meaningful and usable content. And so what I mean by that is that this isn't going to be big picture kinds of things where, you have to spend hours and hours trying to implement it. It's going to be right at your fingertips and useful in the way that you need it right now. I've been in education for almost 30 years. I've been been a teacher with really challenging students with challenging behaviors for many, many years. I've mentored new teachers, and the thing that I always see is that what teachers need and what they want is something that is meaningful to them right now, something that actually brings about change in their classroom right now, and that's what Classroom Management Untangled is. You also get a members-only YouTube channel where I continually add new trainings, and those are designed specifically for your needs. And so you'll see that when you join, you have a link where you can ask me questions, and oftentimes I'll answer those questions by adding a training to the YouTube channel based on what your specific needs are, because you can be sure if you have a question about it, so does somebody else. You also get the full bite-sized behavior course, which is a full course on how to create and implement a specific behavior program in your classroom. This is one of my most popular courses, and I do training and PD in this all across the country, and you get this as part of your membership, so that's awesome. You also get access to Classroom Management Bootcamp, which is a boot camp, a training that's in person, quote unquote, in person, through Zoom, that happens right before the school year. And it's an hour and a half training where you can actually go through most of this area and get started in a lot of it to get your classroom ready for day one. You also get access to me on speed dial. And so what this is this is called Mentor on Speed Dial. And we use an app called Voxer where you can message me and I'll get back to you. And so it really allows that kind of personal one-to-one mentoring support. That's really cool. And then also included is kind of a choose your own path process. So what I've done is I've set a couple paths for you if you're looking for support in certain areas. So let's say you want really to deal with challenging behaviors, then I tell you to go through, modules 7, 9, and 11 or whatever, to kind of help guide you through if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for a little bit more support. But if not, you just go through that at your own pace. Here's the modules. All of this is covered. We do self-care and classroom management, classroom setup and scheduling, rules and procedures, teaching behavioral expectations, reinforcement, creating a classroom community, that classroom management boot camp, more inclusive of some other information, building positive relationships with students, how to use engagement when you're managing your classroom, what to do when nothing seems to work, behavioral traps that we kind of all fall into, and then to how to teach those learning to learn skills, which are those skills that help students be really independent and successful. Like I said, you get the bite-sized behavior course included in the membership. You get the classroom management boot camp. You get the mentor on speed dial. And then here's just an example of that choose your path where I help guide you through if that's what you're looking for. And then here are just some samples of some of the content that's included. I know that, that a lot of times people like to see what it looks like. Again, remember, this is just a very small sampling of some of the modules. This is some information from creating a classroom community. You can see that there's a lot of usable resources on books to read, hundreds of ideas on how to build the community, some actual activities and the materials you need to create those activities. There's also different, there's about 15 different posters that you can print and go for building classroom community. So that's just a little bit of an example on that module. And then here, there's another module on what to do when nothing seems to work. Just to give you an example, here's the table of contents. And in this module, there's specific information on how to deal with some of those really challenging behaviors, what to do, and how to do it. And so you can see that this is focuses on aggression, excessive noncompliance, talking out, eloping, things like that. And then you can see that there's a cheat sheet that really includes information on exactly what you can do when you're dealing with those challenging behaviors. There's a lot of cheat sheets. There's a lot of tip sheets throughout the whole membership. And then in this module, you get sort of a playbook, and this has over 100 ideas of different things you can try when you have that really challenging student where nothing seems to be working. And so this is just a really small sample of a couple of the modules. Again, there's 12 different modules, so there's tons and tons of information. Some of the modules include video trainings as well within the module, and then some have workbooks and activities. So I hope that this is helpful for you. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out. Thanks so much.